I don't
Stay at
know.
home. She says she doesn't wake up
I
early.
don't know, man. All right. So we're gonna end middle factoring, which is the opposite of FOILing.
Bless you.
Thanks, man.
So we're gonna split this big thing into two parentheses. And what I need to do is I need to figure out what numbers are going inside these parentheses.
Okay.
And there's two things I need to ask. I want to know what times what equals this last number here at the very end that doesn't have an x by it. I want to know what times what equals 6.
2 times 3.
And I want those same two numbers to add up to the number in the middle, which is 5, which I kind of covered it up. But
2 times 2.5.
no decimals. Sorry, that's the other thing. No decimals today. So I want to know what times what is 6 and adds up to 5. And they have to be the same set of numbers.
You said 7?
So, no, what times what is 6 and adds up to 5?
So,
2
So
times
3
3.
times 2.
Oh,
3
yeah.
times 2 is 6, right?
Yeah.
Is 3 plus 2 5?
Sure.
So I found the numbers I need.
Uh,
Because if I find out what times what equals the number on the end, which is 6, and adds up to the number in the middle, same numbers, then I know what numbers I'm going to put in.
that looks
So
like a pretty good 5.
my answer, I'm going to have my two parentheses. My first thing is always going to be x or y or whatever variable it is. And then after that, I'm going to have to put my numbers. And the order doesn't matter. So I could start with a 2 or I could start with a 3. But I'm just going to start with 3 because that's what I did. So this is a positive 3, right? Positive 3 times positive 2 is 6. Positive 3 plus positive 2 is 5. Because it's positive, I'm going to go plus 3. And then for the 2, because it's positive, I'm going to go plus 2. So when I in the middle factor this, I split it apart, and I get x plus 3, x plus 2 in my parentheses. And that's it. We're done. So the reason it's the official, I don't remember the official name for this. I call it in the middle factoring because I want to know what times what is the number on the end and adds up to the number in the middle. That's why I call it in the middle. And so it's the same process for everything today. So we're just going to practice some of these. So I'm going to factor this using my end middle factoring. So I know I'm going to have two parentheses. And because I have x's, my first thing is always going to be x in both of these. I need to figure out the numbers. So I want to know what times what is the number on the end, which is 15, and adds up to the number in the middle, which is 8.
5 times
And this can be kind of a lot of guess and check as we go through this. So always start with the times part though, because I want to know
That's 20.
there's less things I can add up, or excuse me, there's less things I can multiply to get 15 than there are for me to add to get 8. So Ira, what can I multiply to get 15?
5 times 3.
5 times 3.
How do you say 5 times 4?
Is 5 plus 3 8?
Yeah.
Yep, then I know I got my numbers. These are the numbers I need. If we get it, and we get something else, like let's say, for example, if I did 15 and 1, 15 times 1 is 15, right? Is 15 plus 1 8?
No.
No. So if you ever find two numbers, but they don't add up to be the middle, you know you did it wrong, and you got to try again. So if I started with 15 and 1, and I find out I'm wrong, I'm just going to cross them out because I don't need them. I'm just going to keep going until I find the right one. So I have everything I need to split this apart. Because this is a positive 5, I'm going to go plus 5. Because it's a positive 3, I'm going to go plus 3. And then we're just going to keep practicing these.
No.
They do get a little tougher because we're going to get some negatives in here now. So, in middle factoring again, so I'm going to have my two parentheses. I'm going to start with x's. And I want to know what times what is 24. And the number in the middle, we got to be careful. It's not just 11.
Negative 11.
It is negative 11.
I knew it.
Yep. Negative 11. So, we need two numbers that multiply to be a positive, but add to be a negative. So, both numbers are going to be negative. Negative times a negative is a positive. Negative plus a negative is a negative. So both numbers are going to be negative. So I'm going to put negative signs here just to help me remember that both are going to be negative. Alright, let's try it. So DeAndre says -8, -3.
So?
-8 times -3 is positive 24. -8 plus -3 is -11. So we got it. So we have our two numbers. The order doesn't matter. I'm just going to start with
What if
Minus 8 and minus
minus
3.
So we're going to go
seven times
-8
4, though.
and -3. Yep, you're right. -8 and -3.
Mine's
Good, I hope you
negative.
flip.
Mine's negative.
So
7
we
and
gotta
negative.
be careful. The negatives can make this a little sneaky, but the process is the same. So let's do a couple more of these, then you guys can do a couple more. So in middle factoring still, I'm gonna make my parentheses. Let's see, my variables are x, x and x. And then I gotta be careful, what times what is -15.
5 times -3.
-15. And they add up to be a +2. So because they multiply to be a negative, but add to be a positive, I only have one negative in here. So I'm just gonna put one negative in there.
-3.
So we have to do it. Fine, we'll do what Jake says. Where Jake says -3 and 5. -3 times 5 is -15. -3 plus 5 is +2. So I've got everything I need. I'm going to go -3 in my first one, plus 5 in my second. The order doesn't matter though. So if you did +5 first and then -3, that is fine. It does not matter.
How to become the best
Alright, I think we're going to do one or two more together, and then you guys are going to do a few on your own. And that's it. So, help me out on this first one. Let's go. Alright, I'm going to go what times what. And Lily, help me out. What's the number on the end?
12.
And then what do they have to add up to?
7.
Yep.
Right.
So I want to know what times what is 12 and adds up to 7.
4 times.
And before I find them, I'm going to put my parentheses. And because they're x's, I'm going to go x and x. Alright. So Lucas, help me out. What times what is 12?
4 times 3.
4 times 3. So 4 times 3 is 12 is 4 plus 3 7?
Sure.
Yep. So I found everything I need. I'm going to go plus 4.
So again, it doesn't matter which way we
No.
do it.
So you can do plus 3 first.
Is this our homework on this?
What?
No, Tyler.
Is this in class?
Yes.
Tyler, go home, go bed.
Really, shut up. Really?
Alright, you know what? You guys are
You're
doing pretty good on
clearly
this.
lost.
So let's skip this one. Let's go into some in-class problems. Let's do just the first one.
You're drunk. You can go
Let's
home.
do just the first one right here. So on your own, I want you to tell me, I want you to in the middle factor this. What times what is 42 and adds up to -13? And I'll give you guys a
They're
little
both
bit
going
of
to
a
be
hint.
negatives.
They're both going to be negatives.
So it's easy to go with the. That's not a hint at all.
What about 3 times 14?
Yeah, we
All right. So you might need to just guess and check with Desmos. So let's say you can say like, oh, 6 times 7 is 42. 6 plus 7 -13. I think I gave it away, but
Yeah, you can.
6 times
Oh, wow.
7.
no, it's wrong. It's wrong.
Cookie,
I was
you
lying.
lied.
I was lying the whole time.
Me. Me.
You're false. I'm going with you.
Man, honestly, I thought this is dumb.
Why?
Just because.
Easy. I kind of like doing these. They're kind of fun.
Easy.
Oh.
Watch it.
That was funny. Laugh, everybody.
What?
Let's get laugh.
It was like a nervous laughter.
I give you about 30 seconds, then somebody's gonna help me out.
It was like a laugh and everybody laughed.
I feel like if I should just say the word laugh, everyone should laugh.
No.
Well, I'm not saying it now, but I'm saying like I feel like that should.
You just ruined it.
Laugh.
No.
It's funny.
All right.
It's good shit.
Roy, help me out. What times what is 42? Okay. -6 times -7.
Nope.
-6 and -7.
Nope.
And
Negative
help me out.
6.
DeAndre is -6 plus -7, -13.
-6.
Hell no. Maybe. Yeah.
Yeah. All right. So what's my answer gonna look
I
like?
mean, yeah.
Negative.
What's my answer gonna look like, Quadri?
Oh, eight
-6, -7.
That's, what, I don't know, what do you think? Yeah, x minus 6?
X minus 7.
X minus.
X minus 6, x minus 7.
What? How'd you guys get that? I got something else.
Come on,
What'd you
Tyler, give me the
I
program.
got -7.
Yeah,
-6.
that's right.
That's what he said.
I did it.
That doesn't matter. Remember, the order doesn't matter.
So I
So you
got
could say
it.
x minus 7 and then x minus 6. That's fine.
I was kidding.
As long as you got them both, you're good.
Tyler.
These kids. Alright, let's,
Not a long night.
you know what? Let's skip to this last one. You guys are doing pretty good. Let's do one more, then
Let's
we'll do exit
skip
ticket.
to the exit ticket.
No, we're gonna do one more.
Yeah, let's get to the.
One
let's get to the
more.
homework.
Pick the difficult
This is
exit
easy.
ticket, the top one or the bottom one.
Alright, I want you to do this last one. C squared plus 15c plus 56.
So you
For the
really,
last in-class problem.
you really don't do nothing with this C squared, do you?
No.
It's just chilling there.
Yeah, it's just chilling there.
Okay, it's too hard.
So we'll do it stuff with it later, but not right now.
3.
Equals 56, but also equals 15. What?
We're trying to make it equal 50.
I'll give you a little bit of a hint. If you're not sure, figure out, like look at the multiplication chart up there on my wall.
I
That
can't
might
see that.
help you out a little bit. Or Google it on your Chromebook,
I got it.
multiplication chart.
Don't play Tetris.
You got it?
I feel like I just
No.
want to solve it by just looking at it, but I don't know it.
No. If you're not sure, take 56 and start dividing it by different numbers. Do 56 divided by, say, 4 or 2
7
or
times
whatever.
There you go. You got it.
4 times
Lying, don't listen to
14.
Only
He's
12.
lying. Don't tell me.
7 times 8.
So 4 times
56
4
divided by
times
4
14 is
12.
46.
Mm,
7
no.
times 8. No.
But
That
four
would
times
be,
15.
Just tell me
that'd
someone's
be
gonna
12,
answer.
it'd be 12 point
Yeah, I
something.
just gave you the answer.
Yeah, you said 7
You
times
did.
8 is 56.
Oh, yeah.
Silly bastard.
You
What
said
was
that,
that,
Ira?
Ah, I said bastard.
Um,
Yeah.
Unless you want to start off the new year with the referral.
But wait, it means
So wait,
kid with
there's
no,
more.
with no father.
It's also a what?
You're like 10.
I'm calling him a kid with no father.
Yeah, you could say that, but don't say the other one because one's offensive more than the other.
Which one's more
For
less
example,
offensive?
Which one's less?
Less offensive? Saying you're a kid with no father. That's less offensive.
That's what I'm saying, dude.
It's still a jerk thing to say, but it's less offensive.
I don't have a dad.
Oh, you bastard. Sorry for that.
I mean,
What?
he's
Throws it out there.
I tell you.
Was it, this was,
Don't say it.
okay, come on. I was just joking.
okay.
I was joking.
Ira,
Okay, alright.
stop.
Alright, okay.
Stop.
Holy shit.
See, that's shit.
All right, Ira.
Yeah.
What times what is 56?
4 times 14, right? Yeah.
Is 4 plus 14 15?
No.
No. So better try again. What times what is 56?
I don't know. 12 times. I don't know.
Keep working on it.
7 times 8.
56.
7 plus 8, 15. Thanks, Ira and Brandon.
You're welcome, man.
Alright, so 7 and 8, sometimes 8 is 56, 7 plus 8 is 15. So Ira, what's my final answer gonna look like?
X.
Careful though, what's the variable?
Oh, C.
C.
Yeah.
B.
What?
Okay, so C, and then what?
There's a plus.
Plus
Yep.
7.
7, yeah.
Yep. And what's
C
my
plus
second?
A.
Checker.
For my final answer.
Only been
Alright.
around.
Yep, that's it. So, start in your exit ticket if you haven't yet.
What, for real?
Mm-hmm.
I don't understand.
So-
What is the S?
It's 1.
1, yep. So, if you don't see anything, it's automatically a 1. So there's a 1 there. There's also a 1 here.
So it has to be
So,
negative 30, but
yep.
it also has to equal
adds
1.
up to 1. So I'll give you a hint. 1 is going to be negative, because they multiply to be negative, right?
Well, it's gonna
What times what equals negative 30?
it's gonna be negative.
So what times what is negative 30? And adds up to 1. Positive
Negative
1.
1. No, wait.
Was it negative 130 or negative?
So, one of these is going to be negative. Just one of them.
3 times 10 equals 30.
That's true. So 1's going to be negative, right? So how about negative 3? Is 10 plus negative 3 1? No, so flip it around. What if it's negative 10? Is negative 10 plus 3 1?
No.
So better find different numbers.
Can I go to the restroom?
I thought you were onto
please?
something there.
Yes.
dude.
I know, me too. I was like, what?
I was like, come on.
And then once you're done, answer it in Socrative.
Oh, wait, 5 times